Thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet, the voice you know with the news you trust studio, sponsored by BASF, where you can count on the trusted performance of Allevo seed treatment to protect your soybean crop. I'm Dusty Sonnenberg. Well, it's another beautiful day out there with clear skies, 55 degrees on the barn thermometer. It was cool this morning in parts of northeast Ohio, had frost on the ground and temperatures in the 30s. It's supposed to warm up into the mid-60s on our farm, with Harvest 25 rolling on all across the Buckeye State. Taking a look at your agricultural headlines, if you think that it has been warm going later into the fall than in past years, you're not wrong. So far this fall season, harvest and field work have largely been done in a freeze-free condition across the United States, and that's not a rare occurrence anymore. A study of the first freeze occurrence by Climate Central finds that since 1970, the first freeze by and large arrives later in 204 U.S. cities that were reviewed across the country. And the study is based on an open access temperature data from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Out of those 204 cities that were reviewed in the contiguous United States, the date of the first freeze was later 88% of the time. So on average, the first fall freeze now arrives 12 days later than it did back in the early 1970s. And the change is not surprising when you consider how the fall season temperatures have changed. Except for a handful of counties in the Midwest and the Southeast, fall warming covers the entire lower 48 states, and the warming is especially notable in the northern Midwest, the Great Plains, the Southwest, the International Mountain West, and the Northeast. In these regions, the fall temperatures are 3 to 4 degrees higher than they were back in the early 1970s. Now, digging deeper into the areas representing the central U.S. cropping areas, they find that the first freeze arrives mostly 1 to 2 weeks later than it did back in the 1970s. That's significant. The later arriving freezes mean there's longer active seasons for pests, a longer period for allergies, and for many fruit crops, lower yields because the reduced chilling date. On the other hand, the later occurrent fall freeze can give corn and soybeans the extended ripening time, which favors the yields. For the biggest delay in the first freeze compared with 1970, it's hard to top what's going on right now in Reno, Nevada. The average first freeze in Reno has shifted from the third week in September back in 1970 to the first week in November. That's 41 days later, almost 6 full weeks that they've seen a change. This widespread delay in the occurrence of the first freeze has other warming-related incidents. Weather and climate agencies announced earlier this week that September of 2025 was the third warmest in recorded history. Now, it did trail basically September of 23 and 24. Also, the United Nations World Meteorological Organization reports that atmospheric content of carbon dioxide, which is the most prominent heat-trapping greenhouse gas, reached a record level last year. 2 other prominent greenhouse gases, being methane and nitrous oxide, have also hit record levels according to that organization. Well, let's take a look now at today's weather forecast, brought to us by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance, online at seedconsultants.com.
Dry and warm over most of Ohio here through the rest of this afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin. Quick forecast update for you. Your Thursday looks pretty doggone good, all things considered. Sunshine, blue sky, and strong southwest winds. That's keeping pretty much all threats of precipitation out today. Now, there is a disturbance moving through Michigan as we move into tomorrow morning. I think we still have to watch for some cloud cover out of that getting down into northern tier counties of Ohio. Right now, I am saying no precipitation from it, so I think mostly dry through Friday and dry to start the day on Saturday. However, our next frontal boundary increases clouds through Saturday afternoon, evening, and overnight. Through Sunday, we see several rounds of rain coming through. I think we have to pencil in anywhere from 1/4 to 1.5 inches of rain across the largest part of Ohio, and I won't rule out some locally heavier amounts thanks to some stronger thunderstorms. I'm Ryan Martin.
Thanks, Ryan. We'll be back to take a look at your markets after this.
When you're buying seed, there's more to a transaction than money. You're exchanging time and trust, hoping each decision adds up at harvest. Seed Consultants sales professionals don't take that lightly. With products made to excel in the Eastern Corn Belt and agronomic knowledge that stands up to the test, we're all about the same things you are: reliability and results. Buy into a better seed experience. Visit seedconsultants.com to view our corn and soybean lineup.
Let's get an analysis on today's markets from Leist Mercantile. Here's Ryan Metzger.
This is Ryan Metzger with Lice Mercantile. Normally, I would be presenting our export data, but with the government shutdown, that data is not available. Instead, I'd like to talk about the NOPA crush data that was released yesterday. NOPA represents 99% of all soybean crushers, and they released their total soybeans crushed in the month of September at 197.8 million bushels, beating industry estimates by nearly 12 million bushels. Unfortunately, it was below the pace needed to hit the USDA crush target. If we keep at this pace for the next 11 months, we'll be short 181 million bushels that will inevitably get thrown back on our carryout. For that not to happen, on our next report, we'll need to see at least 214 million bushels crushed. Please visit our website at licemercantile.com to learn more about our crop insurance services, our grain marketing program, and our brokerage services.
Thanks, Ryan. Well, let's take a look now at your markets brought to us by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. December corn is trading up 2 cents at $4.18 3/4. November soybeans are trading 6 cents higher at $10.12 1/2. And wheat for December up a penny at $4.99 3/4. December live cattle and lean hogs are both trading lower. Thanks for joining us. This is the Ohio AgNet.